Welcome to practice. Today we're working on a gentle practice to strengthen the core, which is not just the belly muscles, but it's kind of this whole package down here. It's really the communication structure between all the different parts of the body so that everything feels like it's connected and cooperating as one unit. And best of all, we're not going to try to fatigue ourselves in order to experience it and build it and feel really good about it. So when you're ready, we have no props required for today's practice, and we're gonna go ahead and get started on all fours, tabletop position. So we layer our wrists right underneath the shoulders, the knees go right underneath the hips, and I'm gonna start for my own body to push a little back and forth, almost as if it's in and out of child's pose here. Now you could also take some hip circles or some cat-cows, but I find for me that when I just go in one plane of movement, say this forward-backward, that I can start to feel what's required of the legs, what's required of the belly, of all of these different parts of my body in order to keep the package secure throughout the entire range of movement. See if you can find that. And if you're going forward and backward like me, you can maybe start to switch it up a little bit, keeping that whole arrangement, now going around in some hip circles. And so when we're talking about the core, we're really also talking about the buttocks, we're talking about the low back, we're talking about the hip flexors, we're talking about the legs, we're really talking about the whole system. Now let's see, come forward, tabletop position, neutral spine. We'll go in and out of cat and cow. We want to stay fully connected on the front side of the body. So feel that here from the lowest part of your belly all the way out through the skull. Spend a few moments in this static position, flooding your whole body with your attention. And so your pinkies get as much attention as if attention were light filling a room. Your body is that room. Fill it up evenly. Now keep the attention spreading evenly so it's not being cut off from any place, it's not being overly sent to one place and under to another. It's all very even and equal as now we go through this flowing motion of inhale, heart lifts, tailbone lifts, back bend, and exhale, curling into the spine, ribs in, belly button way up. Inhale, dropping through neutral, back bend. And exhale, curling in. Moving in and out like this in your own time. And to release, toes touch, hips back to the heels, child's pose, bowing the heart down, bowing the forehead down, taking the weight on the forehead more towards the hairline so that the back is rounding. Soften out through your whole face. Come back up to tabletop position, hands and knees. We're actually going to widen it out, so walk the hands a little bit more forward and the knees a little bit more back. And then we're going to lean the pelvis forward of the knees so that the heart shifts forward of the fingernails, and the front of the body is still going to hug up to the back body. Take a big breath in, look forward, and on the exhale, lower all the way down to the ground. Woo. Okay, from here, elbows down to the floor, forearms parallel, elbows right underneath the shoulders, and the heart moves through the window of the armpits. Now see here, when the front body is kind of splayed open and splat on the floor like this, the attention can kind of scatter away from it. Flood your entire body with your attention and integrate the front body to the back body so that it all feels like it's all combining and helping create the shape. No part of it is being pushed out of the shape. take a breath in. And on your exhale, curl your chin, wrap your pelvis off the floor. Tailbone towards the backs of the knees. So it's like a modified forearm plank. Inhale, soften the legs down, the pelvis down, stretch forward. This is Slinky Sphinx. Exhale, curl in. 3 more times on your own. And when you're finished, release, soften, relax. You can even bend into your knees and kind of paint the ceiling left to right with your toes. Now we'll actually find a little bit more space in all of that torso tissue. So the way that we'll do it, we'll kind of thread into a little bit of a twist. So come back up to your forearms so that your chest is propped up. We're gonna take the left arm, we're gonna thread it underneath the right arm. So right underneath that right armpit. We're gonna then start to roll on to the left side of the body into a twist. So we're opening the right side of the body skyward, and we're leaving the bottom of the body almost like it's kind of resisting the open, and that's where that twist comes from. And you can gently let the bones shift and stretch as you breathe. A lot of times the breath can be really useful to create even and equal space between the two sides of the body. And so especially here in this twist, get equal space from the pelvis out through the side waist into the armpits. Lots of freedom for the neck. And then lead with your right hand as you come back down to the belly, and we'll take the other side. So we just prop ourselves up here, then we thread the right arm underneath the left armpit. We come onto that outer arm, and then we're gonna open up into that little twist. And depending on your body, you may find that your left shoulder easily comes to the floor, and you can really expand your wingspan here and open both sides of the armpit. Sometimes I scooch the right side of my chest out from underneath the body to get more of a feeling like I'm just laying open. But sometimes your shoulder won't connect back there, and so it's up to you to figure out how you want to play, how you want to dance with the limitations of our body. Our bodies are designed to be limited. So it's more about the experimentation, the exploration. And then what's cool from here, we'll just continue rolling onto our back and scooch our way back to the center of our yoga mat. Okay. From here, we can draw the knees into the belly. We can roll around a little bit on the spine, and we'll do some work with the legs. So we can take the legs, they can be bent. If you can take your legs towards straight, if the backs of the legs and the low back is developed to straighten the legs, then be my guest. And we'll actually hold on to the back of the left leg for support. So whatever you can grab back there, and if you actually can't grab it, then you can, swing like a hand towel around or something so that you have more accessibility into it. Now we're gonna try to get that left thigh bone totally perpendicular to the floor here, tailbone slightly rolling off the ground, and as long through the left leg as you can get. Now from here, we wanna feel the thigh bones plug down into the pelvis so that you feel really secure in that lower belly. That should actually turn that lower belly on. And we wanna keep everything nice and stable as we start to lower the right leg towards the ground. And we want to not let it take the pelvis or take the spine or take the belly with it. And you just go as far as feels good, and then you take it right back on up. And so depending on where you're needing to build your strength, we can repeat this a few times. You may feel this predominantly in your legs, you may feel it predominantly in your hips or in your belly. And when you're ready, I think I did about 4 there, you can soften out of that. And again, we're just being very, very gentle here. And so we can always look to our experience and say, can I help myself be more gentle here? Can I soften through the face a little bit more? Can I see my experience more clearly, the sensations, the thoughts, the perceptions? Okay, let's set up for the other side. So if we hug behind the right thigh now, plug the thigh bones down into the pelvis so that we turn on the support mechanisms. And then we can very lightly start to lower the left leg towards the ground. And we bring it all the way back up. And we do it a few more times. Not trying to achieve anything. It's just all an experiment. Like, I didn't realize that at this part, my pelvis kind of twists and spins. When you're finished with that, soften again. You can always go into happy baby. You can kind of butterfly the knees a little bit. Starting to feel the inner thighs really start to strengthen. That's perfect. And then let's take a couple of them where we're actually using the muscles of the core. So if you take or the torso, take the legs towards the sky once again. Of course, they are only as straight as is available to us. And we'll start to hike the bottom and the tailbone up off the ground. And so you can use your arms as a little bit of a support, but we're gonna see if we can start, what kind of movement can we start generating here? The more you take the toes as if you were going to take them overhead, the more work the torso is doing to move the legs. Okay, when you've had enough of that, you can soften out. You can windshield wiper the legs a little bit. And so we've gotten all these different areas that are connected to each other. We also want to go ahead and take advantage of the side body here. So we'll do that with a little controlled twisting. Take your legs in towards your belly. We're going to take the shins parallel to the ground, inner knees and inner ankles together. And the big toe mounds, imagine you were holding like just a little soft pebble there. So that we can maintain that through this range of motion. Roll your tailbone off the floor a little bit. That's gonna rock your knees more into your chest. Spread out your arms to something that feels good and relax your upper body. So a lot of times I feel like if my belly is being asked to do a lot of work that it's not prepared to do, a lot of times that work and effort will go into my shoulders and into my neck. And so this twist is a really good opportunity to remain totally relaxed through the upper body as we work the lower body. So we'll take the next in-breath. We're gonna start to take the knees over towards the right, coming onto the right hip, but we're not going all the way down to the floor. And instead, we're coming back up through center, and we're going over to the left. And so this is maybe like 20 to 30% of our range of motion. And we're just gonna tick-tock the knees, squeezing them towards the arms. The more we do that, the more intense the sensation. And trying to keep the legs and the pelvis as a package. So letting the attention flood our entire body. You can start to take the legs even farther over as you start to feel a little bit more prepared. Maybe one more each side. And then when you're ready, soften out of this. Maybe even like butterfly the knees in and out. If you want a happy baby, that can feel nice too. Grab onto the feet, pull your knees down and towards your armpits. You can roll around a bit on your back. Then we'll actually set up for a nice quick short shavasana today. So we can take our legs into a comfortable position, letting the spine rest on the ground, letting the eyes gently close. If you have an eye pillow or a towel you can place over your eyes, that can feel really nice. Can kind of signal to the nervous system that it's okay to calm down. We can take a nice big full breath in through the nose. We can exhale out through the mouth. Yoga is really our opportunity to develop an open body. And an open body is a body that is strong enough to take on challenges without fatiguing. And an open body is a body that is flexible to withstand the changes that life throws at it. And this open body here in Shavasana can be experienced simply by letting the boundaries of the body dissolve completely. So taking our attention now to the walls of our skin. To the air around the skin. As if our body could be so open that it actually started to encompass the room around it. So now instead of feeling like our body is limited to this form, we now feel like it's the size of the room. And then we sense that there's not even a separation between the inside of the room and the outside of the room. So we say, wow, oh my gosh, now my body is not just the inside of the room, but it's the whole world even. But where is that boundary? Where does that stop? Does it not then just go into the space around the world? And we can extrapolate this outwards until we experience our body as the entirety of existence. The entirety of existence, whatever created existence itself. Whatever is willing the thoughts in our mind, the thoughts in our loved ones' minds, the thoughts in our enemies' minds, the weather in the sky. And what this does for us is it positions us to approach our lives from a place of understanding, from a place of happiness, from a place of peace, so that we're not trying to seek that out in the world, because we already know we can't find it there. If we found happiness and peace in the world, we would have just been happy since we got our first kiss, or since we got our first car, since we landed our first really kick-ass job. But that's not where happiness is, because we know that 5 minutes later, you're back in traffic, or you get a call from your mechanic, or whatever it is that spits you back down the rabbit hole of suffering. So I'll leave you here like this today in case you want to explore this a little bit more and experiment with it, because this is really the good stuff of the practice. This is really where the learning takes place. And so before I leave you, I do just want to let you know that if you like this practice, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. We have new free classes every week. We have free weekly letters that you can sign up for on our website, where we send out classes, blog posts, happiness guidance. It's our biggest passion in life, and we love sharing it with you. So thanks again for joining in today's practice. Have a wonderful day.